Next, we have the time him and Apollo get transported, basically time displaced, and they become samurai in a distant time, right? Immediately when they get there, Midnighter is goated as shit at the samurai stuff. In fact, he faces 60 of the finest samurai or ronin to exist at that time and bodies them right there. It was horrible. Like, he was styling on them off the gate, and they're like, yeah, this dude's gonna be the samurai goat. Next, in like the final Goon moment from the samurai arc, we see in this arc, Midnighter gets trapped in like an army against everybody. Him and Apollo only, and they have to fight back at samurai. Eventually, when the night falls, everybody's dead except Midnighter, as even Apollo goes, I love you, and dies. Like, literally, because the sun dropped, all the war they were doing, being depowered as samurai, he, even with his godly powers, didn't really have an answer for the long haul. And Midnighter literally showed he was tougher than Apollo there, which was crazy to see. Next, we have the army of bots that pulled up on him, learning a tough lesson. As you guys know, t-shirt alert. So, he's battling this army of bots. And they had pulled up on him, tried to jump him. People usually don't fight him straight up, as you can tell. Like, they literally jump him. It's horrible. Why'd I study that? I don't know. F in the chat for my stutter. But getting back to this is probably because he's beating the shit out of everybody. I'm just shocked. He's going against these bots, and he's like, you pulled up deep, right? Starts fucking them up. And when they're all dead, he's like, yo. Then there was none. And everybody that was witnesses, they were like, yo, what is this man doing? Like, what kind of shit is he on? Yeah, Midnighter is a beast. Next, another time he had to humble his ops, right? They were talking shit to him, and he looked at them, and they should have known shit was risky when his eyes were glowing. And he was like, I just need to remind you dummies that I literally see millions of fights, millions of patterns, all your personalities, all your moves, all your traits, everything that makes you you, everything that you could possibly do. He's like, all this shit just happened instantly in my head. There's no way you could beat me. He's like, just turn around, go home, call it a day. Like, this shit's useless fighting me. And just every time he brings that up, it's just too cold. And it proves he's a Hall of Fame goon for a reason. Next, we have when he realized the God Garden got robbed. Keep in mind, I've already kind of reviewed what kind of tech they have. And still, he didn't give a shit, right? He's like, yo, they can have whatever tech they want, Gardner. You need to understand something. They are my ops because they pulled up on my original home. He's like, it doesn't matter if they have flash tech. Doesn't matter if they have Martian DNA. I'm going to beat the shit out of them. And he was like, I will be back with all your shit and all of their dead bodies because you don't fuck with us. And Gardner was like, I knew I made a real one. But yeah, like his speech to Gardner about how he was going to do them dirty was just amazing. Next, we realize the Hood loves him even when he stops him. It was kind of crazy. So there's this metahuman pulling up on a corporation because they did her dirty. Like, screwed her over financially, family-wise, all of that. And Midnighter, seeing this happen, had to stop her because she was going to kill everybody. Stops her, but then he breaks the arm of one of the corporation people there, and he's like, I need you to understand something. He's like, just because I stopped her doesn't mean you're the good guy. He was like, I know who you are and what you've done and what you did, and you are going to press minimal charges against this girl and pay her family, or else I'm going to personally bring her back here to fuck you up. And I was like, damn. And you see the girl smile on panel at the end because she realized, like, Midnighter's actually real as shit. Next, we see his beef with an army of ninja. So this army of ninja pulls up on Midnighter. Now, usually this would be a problem for most people. I mean, these are ninjas that are made to combat Batman type characters. And this is literally an army of them. When he sees them, he pulls out his weapons, smiles, and was like, yo, who told you guys it was my birthday? He's like, the fact y'all knew it was my birthday and I wanted this smoke is crazy. And he proceeds to beat the shit out of them. It was bad, but yeah. Him just saying, yo, how'd y'all know it was my birthday? And then 1v armying them was crazy. Next, we see him pulling up on the Suicide Squad with the rematch and soloing them, right? Now, the funny part about this is he was talking crazy to them because he was actually down in abilities. Parasite, the Superman villain, had snatched his healing factor. So he couldn't heal at all during this. And he's like, yo, I'm going to beat the shit out of all of you, even without my healing factor, because y'all are that trash. He was true to his word. Literally styled on all of them, even Parasite. And it was funny to see because, like, they had prep on him, all that. He was down in abilities. Didn't matter. Of course, my boy Midnighter clutched the W. Next, we get when he was chosen. He was the chosen one to go after Hitler. This dude pulled up on him and he's like, look, Midnighter, I know you know how bad Hitler is. We need you to go do him dirty. We have the means to send you back in time and let you fuck him up. And Midnighter was like, oh, I get to run the 1v1 with Hitler? Like, say less. I'll do that. Like, I don't rock with Hitler. And so, of course, he gets teleported to handle this shit. Tell me why this man was really about to fade Hitler so easily that the temporal cops had to pull up on him and stop him. That's right. The feds literally had to stop him because he was easily going to one-shot Hitler, which is hilarious. Next, we see why this happened, right? You would think killing Hitler would be good, but actually what would really happen, and Midnighter was able to see the future, was that if Hitler was killed, this dude that was actually way worse than Hitler would pull up and replace him. Now, for me personally, I think this was a wild character moment for Midnighter because he literally had to choose to allow Hitler to live, knowing what Hitler would do, but only because if Hitler died, someone way worse would be there. Next, we have Cosmic Key amped Prometheus in the 1v1 with Midnighter, right? He also had Midnighter's file, literally had every single move of Midnighter's, everything he could do, everything he had done. He had the Cosmic Key. He had the ultimate prep time, and he was unable to beat Midnighter, who also had his precog completely disabled. So Midnighter was styling and profiling without any of his abilities, really. He was like, yo, I'm just going to beat the shit out of you without using my powers. Like, I don't really care. And it was just nuts to see Midnighter beat him despite all the disadvantages. Next, we have him admitting to Nightwing he's the ultimate troll. Hit the like button if you haven't already, because this moment was hilarious. So Nightwing asked him, he's like, yo, Midnighter, be real. All the bullshit you do, all the antics you have, all the adventures you've gone on, why are you serious? Like, why do you do that shit? And he's like, no, I'm not serious. Midnighter's like, let me tell you something. I troll in everything I do. He's like, I troll through life. All aspects of what I do, I troll. And he was like, my reason for this is because life would be boring and way easier if I took shit serious, because I'm the GOAT. So he was like, I gotta like take it easy and just troll because it would just be too simple for me. And it sounded horrible, but hey, Midnighter's the GOAT. Next, we see his initial pursuit of the God Garden tech that was stolen, right? This was terrifying for his ops. So they had stolen that shit. He's like, all right, bet. I'm going to get that shit back. We see him literally go on a torture spree, finding people, beating them up, paralyzing them, even killing some. And this whole time he's like, yo, I need y'all to understand something. You might have stolen Martian DNA, Flash-like powers, godlike tech, but you gotta understand, I might as well be the devil himself. He was like, I'm fear itself, I'm the devil itself, I'm all the horrible things you could think of possibly coming from that garden, and I'm gonna kill all of you. And they were shook as he literally, bit by bit, walked down everybody associated with the robbery. Next, we find out why most people fear the 1v1, and it was kind of funny. So it was revealed that nobody actually wants to fight Midnighter fair in a 1v1 because he's literally has like the craziest resume for someone who's supposed to be a certain tier. Like for someone of his supposed stature, he's literally clutched 1v1s with gods, according to the other characters. So no one wants to actually fight him because they're like, yo, if he can beat up gods, what's he going to do to me? Like, this dude's absolutely crazy. So yeah, his reputation alone, the fact that he has the rep for bullying gods, and you'll see in the beef video some of the reasoning for that, people just don't want to mess with him. They're like, yo, this dude's legit. No smoke. We don't want it. Next, we realize Midnighter doesn't give a shit about your scaling. So Midnighter's pulling up on one of his ops, right? And he's like mid-combat and mid-dealing with these characters. He realizes that these characters, some of these characters, are literally tapping into and weaponizing the red. Now, if you don't know what the red is essentially like the animal type life essence equal to something like the green, which spreads all throughout creation. That's what Swamp Thing is famously connected to. The fact he saw people using this power and was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna beef with y'all anyway, is crazy. But that's how pissed he was about the God Garden shit. He was like, yo, I don't give a damn. We're fighting regardless. Next, we see him when he was getting interviewed and got caught by the Suicide Squad. They were asking him a bunch of shit, right? They're like, yo, how do your powers work? What can you do? All this stuff. They're planning on using him. Waller's explaining things like, for example, Afterthought scales massively above the Suicide Squad. And eventually, Midnighter's like, yo, look, I need you to understand this. He was like, I don't give a shit what you say. I don't give a shit what you do to me. Like, he was like, matter of fact, no pain conceivable in this universe is enough to do shit to me. He's like, I don't care about it. You won't be able to make me snitch. That's the last thing I'll do in this universe is snitch. I was like, that's facts, Midnighter. You're the realest. Yeah, like, no one else is that. And it's funny, though, because people might think he's exaggerating. But he really is built like that. Literally, he's built to turn every single pain sensor off. So they quite literally can't hurt him. It's nuts. Next, we get one of the most savage fights we've seen from Midnighter. This was amazing. Again, hit the like button. Apollo was throwing the ones with a fake Superman, right? Basically, two characters were created to surpass Midnighter and Apollo. And as you know, Apollo is basically like a Superman. Well, when he was fighting this Superman ripoff, right? Apollo goes, you know what? You're low-key beating my ass, but that's fine. Like, I've done some damage to you. I think I'm going to pass you off to my mans. And throws the Superman down to the ground, right? And he lands in, like, this broken arena. And Midnighter's there. And he's like, what's up, bitch? And he's like, I heard you were a fake Superman. And he was like, here's the problem for you, though. You were just created. There's no way your body's fully adapted. He's like, I see all your sensors. I see your sensory abilities. Some of them are fried from Apollo. He was like, you're not as strong as you think. You're not as fast as you think. He was like, I remade this gun for when I hit you in your shit, it fries your stupid ass brain. Because your dumb ass thought you could copy me. He was like, there's no copying and no beating the originals. Of course, Superman ripoff tries to blitz him. Put on a t-shirt. Don't fuck with my boy Midnighter. He's too real. Next, we have the time Midnighter had to humble Martian Manhunter. So Manhunter pulls up on Stormwatch, makes a fatal mistake of putting hands on Apollo and putting him down in front of Midnighter, right? Midnighter's like, yo, you don't touch my mans. And he slides on Martian Manhunter immediately. Figures out all of Manhunter's abilities and tendencies instantly, and nearly kills him. In fact, he rocks the shit out of him. And Manhunter was like, if I wasn't just outright faster than him and moved my brain to a different spot, he found the genetic weakness in Manhunter. He literally would have killed Manhunter with one punch. And Manhunter was so shook from how dangerous Midnighter actually was that he elected to erase his mind and hoped he didn't remember him, because Midnighter was like, yo, if I remember you, I'm going to kill you. Like, I'm going to come back and kill you. And Manhunter was like, no thanks, and tried to erase his mind. It was funny. Next, we have one of his most famous moments. A lot of Midnighter fans know this one. If you're a Midnighter fan and you know what I'm talking about, stand up for this shit. This was the time, the jackhammer situation. So there's this one op. He was like a former soldier, and he basically assaulted Apollo, right? And he was one of their ops. He was superpowered now, but he gets into it with Apollo. They fight. He gets thrown down. He's like, yo, are you just mad because you were turned on by me, Apollo? And he's like, you don't have what it takes to face your feelings for a real man like me. Whole bunch of crazy shit, right? Apollo's like, nah, I just promised you for a friend. And the dude turns around and looks up to see Midnighter pulling up with a big-ass jackhammer. And he's like, yo, pleasure to make your acquaintance. And you already know what homie did with that jackhammer. One of the most brutal deaths ever. It was bad. And yeah, that shit happened. Midnighter really did that shit. Now, last moment, we have the time. And by the way, thank you for everyone that's watched this whole video and sat through this journey of Midnighter, because he's the man. And like I said, like, no joke, he should be the pride of Pride Month for comic characters, because in my opinion, he's the best LGBT comic book character out there. But this time, he talks to the reader, right? We see Midnighter being held up, and he's like, yo, let me tell you some shit. He's like, hi, reader. I am Midnighter, and I literally know how the story ends, so I could just ruin it for you. And seeing him just directly tell the reader, like, yo, I can spoil the story for you if I want to, was funny as shit, and it kind of just perfectly complements his character and also outerversal scaling. But anyways, guys, here's the deal with Midnighter, right? This was an epic, basically almost a 4-parter for Midnighter for a Goon video. So what I'm going to do, you guys are going to see this today in the final day of Pride Month. And then you will see his beef video tomorrow, Midnighter vs. Naran, the beef, as well as a Kenshiro Goon video. And then you will see a Midnighter movie the day after that to join the Goon cinematic universe, as everyone that makes either the Goon Hall of Fame or Jobber Hall of Fame will be in the Goon cinematic universe. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comment section down below who your favorite LGBT character is in comics. If you think there's anyone cooler than Midnighter, let me know. I just like how open he is about who he is and how he styles on people while rubbing the stereotypes in their face. It's pretty funny. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for helping me get to 18K. Make sure to join my Discord server. We play games every day, hang out, talk about battles, scaling, all that. It's fun. We're almost at 600 members, so definitely join up. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check out my second channel, The Coffee Shop, and the rest of the Coffee Shop members. And I will see y'all later. Peace.